Alright guys, so we've got Ruby out today. We're going to show you how we will be addressing when she sees another dog. This is going to be very helpful for folks who are dealing with dogs who get the sight of a dog and just lose their mind. We're taking what we've done, which are those short recalls, and using them here. It's a situation we call crittering, and basically what we're doing is we are increasing pressure and peeling our dog away from what it's looking at. So it's the same stuff, you know, your dog will be getting ahead of you and you're going to be applying pressure and recalling your dog back to you. If you can imagine, the working level pressure that you've been doing is not going to count when your dog actually sees another dog. So that's where we talked about increasing pressure. We're increasing pressure, we're guiding with the leash, and we're waiting for our dog to light bulb go off and turn around. So we've got Jenny here who's got her dog Delilah. Going to pop out in a minute and we'll kind of show you. I'm going to be monitoring her threshold, and again we talk about threshold. Threshold matters because if she's exploding, she's over threshold. I'm trying to manage her threshold, work on keeping her more tuned into me so we can bring her closer to her target and keep her from going over threshold. Alright. Alright Jenny, you can kind of come in the middle of the street there. So my dog has already seen, Ruby sees Delilah, so I'm going to do a quick recall there. Good girl. Yes. You just want to stay about right there. Okay. So Ruby's got ears up. We're under threshold, but I see this body change. Applying pressure, backing her away. Good girl. If you want, why don't you move around? So I'm watching my dog, sneaking behind her, applying pressure. Yes, good girl. So I increased pressure there. I increased pressure from 4 to 13 because she lagged and she stayed there looking at Delilah. Ruby's doing a good job about not being over threshold. So she's still under threshold because we don't have an explosion. But we're pushing a fine line. We're trying to see pressure. Yes, good girl. So I dialed up again from 4 to 12. Good girl. If your dog is already exploding at this point, this is not your threshold. You may be way down the street doing this, but you need to do this at the moment that you see those ears go up. We're trying to do it there. We're trying to do that before we get an explosion. So, again, we're walking towards Delilah. See the shift, but she's so tuned into me. She's not charging forward. She's not trying to get too worked up. She's lagging behind, actually. And what the lagging behind actually tells me is she's trying to avoid. If you think about it, your dog lunges forward because they are nervous or afraid and they want to create space. So they lunge forward to push space that way. Now we're giving our dog a different option that they don't have to lunge forward to create space, that we will help them create space. And that's what we're doing. We're walking them towards something that makes them uncomfortable, but helping them, the girl, create space. So that one, we were a little bit closer, got a little bit higher. We dialed up 4 to 25. Good girl. But I'm showing her how to create space, and what I'm going to get is as I start to approach a dog and approach something, anything that makes her uncomfortable, instead of lunging towards it, she's going to start actually lagging behind to tell me, hey, that makes me uncomfortable, can we create some space? Good girl. Good. She's totally tuned in with me at this point. She's much more interested in me than Delilah, which is really good. So here in a second, we're going to show you an exercise that you can do with your dog. The garbage man's coming. I'm going to show you an exercise you can do with your dog that will help you, when you finally got them under threshold, be able to start integrating into a pattern with another dog, getting them closer, some exercises you can work on. Usually that's kind of the next step. After we get our dog under threshold, we start to do these exercises. I'll also be repeating all of this stuff again in another video when we actually go outside the dog park and work off of dogs who are a lot less controlled than this and a lot higher energy. Alright guys, so you saw the initial part with Ruby where I am triggering her, or we can call it peeling her, off of the other dog with increasing pressure recalls. We've done that enough that my dog's in a pretty good space. So now these are some exercises that I tend to do with dogs who are reactive to help keep them in heel, keep them focused on me and not so concerned about the other dog. This kind of sets you up for that scenario that's like, hey, I'm on the sidewalk, here's another dog. A couple things to keep in mind. Jenny has Delilah under control. Delilah's going to be walking by her side. We're doing this exercise with a calm, stable dog so that Ruby doesn't feel uncomfortable and we can get close. If Delilah was walking a little yappy dog on a if Jenny was walking a yappy dog on a flexi leash, I would be creating much more space because that dog isn't under control. And again, that's about threshold. Our dog has to understand that we respect their threshold and are monitoring it. And any kind of dog coming into your dog's space is pushing that threshold because they're entering your dog's space, and again, your reactive dogs want space. That's the big thing. So, but these are a couple exercises that we'll do to kind of get our reactive dogs tuned in around another dog. So the first thing is called a tap and turn, which we've done with heel already without a dog. And what we do, we walk head on at each other. I look for when my dog is kind of losing interest, and me, a little more interest in her, and that's when I turn. And I tap the remote at the same time. Probably won't be at your working level because things are a little more exciting. So, as you do this, if you don't feel like your dog's responding to the e-collar, change it by a few numbers and try it again. I want to feel like she's responding to the e-collar tap, not me dragging her away. Yes, good girl. So Ruby's doing a really nice job of actually lagging behind, again, like I said, wanting to create space, not looking for confrontation, which is a good choice from her. So she's not lunging forward or anything like that. What I would be looking for in a dog who maybe is triggering off of Delilah more is the minute my dog, those ears go up, that body changes, and starts to push out of heel, that's when I'm doing my tap and turn. And if I continue to do that over and over, I'm going to make sure I've increased my numbers so that I can make a point, and it matters when I turn away that he wants to catch up with me. If you don't feel like your dog's attitude is changing, you either need to adjust how close you're getting if you're struggling, or if you're getting close but you're just not changing your dog's attitude, increase your numbers a little bit. Good girl, but Ruby's right with me. Good girl. Right with me. Very nice. So after my dog's done pretty good with the tap and turn approaches, they're turning with me, they're tuned in, we say, okay, we're ready to move on to our next challenge, which is called a pass by. That means as I pass by the dog and their handler, if my dog pulls out of heel, I guide them back into heel, correct them back into heel. If they're eyeballing another dog, I'm going to tap on the remote to get them to turn their face away from the other dog. Again, you're focusing on keeping your dog in heel. That's your biggest thing. That's easy for you to remember because your dog needs to stay in heel. And if you see too much alertness, a loading, adrenalizing behavior, you interrupt that with e-collar, with tap at a number that matters, a number that changes the dog's behavior. So we're going to do this first. When you do this, start with going dog, person, person, dog. Then as you do a couple repetitions of that, you can turn it into person, dog, dog, person. What I'm looking for again with Ruby is to make sure that she is not eyeballing Delilah too much, pulling out a heel. Basically, I want to make sure she's connected with me and not too concerned about them. So we did well there. So we'll go ahead and use the dog now. tap her those past couple times. Now I'm going to have Jenny go by, and she's going to actually jog with Delilah a little bit, which is going to get Ruby a little interested because, again, that dog's getting fast, it's changing speeds, it's becoming a little more unpredictable, and I want to make sure I can tune her back in. So I'm going to go ahead and be prepared and increase my numbers just a little bit because the excitement level that Delilah is going to bring is going to change her numbers. So I'm going to go from 6 to, we'll go to 10. Girl, I didn't have to do anything. She did great. One more time, one more time. Good girl. So I gave a little tap there because she hesitated a little bit. That actually wasn't even a hesitation of like lunging forward or anything. It was more of a concern again. So I just gave her a tap, said, hey, speed up, come back with me. Good girl. Very nice, very nice. One last thing we'll do after we've done those repetitions a few times is we'll have her walk by with her dog, and I make sure my dog stays in sit, monitoring if my dog's getting too uncomfortable, creating space, and then we swap it around. I walk by, make sure my dog doesn't crowd her dog. So, yes, girl. If I get too much like back and forth, I just click the remote, give a little tap tap. It helps her remove focus from getting too uncomfortable. Nope, sit. Correct her for getting from her sit. Girl. Yes, good girl. So it's great. So she took a glance and she's like, nah, don't want to react. I'll look back to you. I reward her. Good job. Very nice. We'll do it one more time. Much softer. She's not pushing my leg to try and get back there and see her. She's holding command. She's casually looking. She's not getting too concerned. If I felt like she was getting concerned, I would tap the remote to get her to break focus. Very nice. And then we'll have Jenny come sit, and I'll make sure that Ruby can do the same thing. Threshold's important. This is a really good example of threshold. Delilah is also leash reactive. Jenny's done a good job with her. But I monitor my space bubble. I don't want either of these dogs feeling too uncomfortable, so I'm not getting on top of them. We're close, but we don't have to be super close. And the dogs stay comfortable and they feel safe. So, really nice. Yes. There you go. Good girl. Good job, Delilah. So those are a few exercises once your dog's in a better space that you can do with someone who has a dog who's under has some pretty good control of their dog to help get your dog around other dogs in a structured way. The big thing is the more predictable we can make these exercises, the more predictable our motions are, the better that our reactive dogs feel because it's the chaos, it's the uncertainty. It's the chaos, it's the uncertainty, it's the not knowing what's going to happen next that makes these guys so uncomfortable. They like to be safe, they like to feel safe, they like to know somebody has control, and what more control do you have of a situation when you're helping them predict what comes next? So that's what's so important about these exercises. Like I said, we'll be going to the dog park to do this stuff with Ruby this weekend, and filming the same stuff, same exercises, higher levels of energy, higher levels of distractions, and helping utilize the stuff that she knows that she can do calmly in a more stressful environment. So just want to give you guys a glimpse. She's doing good. Thank you, King. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.